3 years ago, I buried my wife. At least, that's what I believed. The police told me her car had gone off a bridge during a storm. The river was too deep, the current too strong, and they never recovered a body. After weeks of searching, they declared her legally dead. I cried every single day for almost a year. I sold our house because every room reminded me of her. I quit my old job. I cut off almost everyone because I couldn't handle the sympathy. The only person who stayed by my side was my best friend, Daniel. He helped me pack my belongings, listened to me when I couldn't sleep, and even convinced me to start living again. I trusted him more than anyone. 3 years later, Daniel called me with exciting news. "I'm getting married," he said. I smiled for the first time in months. He invited me to the wedding and told me he wanted me to meet his fiancée. I arrived early on the wedding day. The guests were laughing. Music filled the room. Then I looked toward the entrance. My heart stopped. Standing there in a white wedding dress was my wife. The same smile. The same eyes. The same tiny scar above her eyebrow. She looked directly at me. For 1 second, her face turned completely pale. Then she looked away as if she'd never seen me before. I thought I was losing my mind. I walked outside, trying to catch my breath. Daniel followed me. "What's wrong?" he asked. I grabbed his collar. "Who is she?" He froze. "What do you mean?" "That's my wife." His face lost all color. He whispered, "That's impossible." Before I could say anything else, the bride came outside. She looked at me with tears in her eyes. "We need to talk." She admitted everything. 3 years earlier, she had discovered that she was deeply in debt because of a business deal she had hidden from me. People were threatening her. She believed the only way to escape was to disappear. With help from someone she knew, she staged the car accident and created a completely new identity. She said she wanted to come back one day. But after months passed, she felt too guilty. Then she met Daniel. He had no idea who she really was. She lied about her past, changed her name, and started a new life. Daniel turned toward her. "You lied to me too?" She nodded silently. The wedding was cancelled immediately. Police reopened the investigation after learning the truth. Insurance investigators discovered she'd received a large payout using forged documents. She was eventually arrested for fraud, identity falsification, and insurance-related crimes. Months later, Daniel apologized to me over and over. None of it had been his fault. We slowly rebuilt our friendship. As for me, I finally understood something important. Sometimes the person you mourn isn't actually gone. They're simply someone you never truly knew. And strangely, that realization hurt even more than the funeral. Part 2. After the wedding was cancelled, I thought the nightmare was finally over. I couldn't have been more wrong. 2 weeks later, I received a call from a detective. "Mr. Carter," he said. "We need you to come to the station. We've uncovered something you need to see." When I arrived, he placed a thick file on the table. Inside were bank records, fake passports, insurance documents, and dozens of photographs. Every photo showed my wife over the last 3 years. Different cities. Different names. Different hairstyles. She hadn't been hiding. She had been running. The detective pointed to one picture. "Do you recognize this man?" I looked closely. It wasn't Daniel. It was my former business partner, Ryan. The same man who had disappeared shortly before my wife's death. That's when everything clicked. Ryan hadn't vanished. He had helped my wife fake her death. Together, they stole millions through fake insurance claims and identity fraud before going their separate ways. The detective explained that Ryan had already been arrested in another state. To reduce his sentence, he confessed everything. He even admitted that my wife never planned to come back. To her, I was just another part of the life she wanted to erase. Hearing those words hurt more than I expected. Not because I still loved her, but because every memory I had trusted suddenly felt fake. A month later, I was asked to testify in court. For the first time since seeing her at the wedding, we looked at each other again. She couldn't even meet my eyes. When the judge asked if she had anything to say, she quietly whispered, "I'm sorry." I waited years to hear those words. But when they finally came, they meant absolutely nothing. The court found her guilty on multiple charges. She was sentenced to several years in prison and ordered to repay the insurance money she had stolen. As I walked out of the courthouse, Daniel caught up with me. "I don't know if you'll ever forgive me," he said. I put my hand on his shoulder. "You didn't betray me. She betrayed both of us." Months later, Daniel and I took one last trip together. We visited the bridge where everyone believed my wife had died. We stood there in silence. Then I took off my wedding ring. I looked at it one final time, and threw it into the river. Not because I hated her, but because I refused to let the past control my future anymore. That day, I finally buried the person I thought I knew. Not my wife, but the lie I had been living. And for the first time in years, I felt free.